Free TV on Facebook Live, and you can log in with the Zoom link that's on the backside of the agenda. I have a roll call, please.
Chris Plex here. Paul Grady, present.
David Frog here.
Ellen Mar present. I'd like to invite everyone to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, is there any public comment? No, you guys are just here to have fun? Any public comment, Kevin? Okay, if someone pops in, just let us know, okay? So the first item on the agenda is the sale of the bond authorization note, $1.8 million for 1 year for the 135 King Street. Want to take us quickly through it, or you just want me to make a motion?
This is a drawdown on the bond authorization for this current phase of the project, which is repaying us, we're paying the town for the money's loan for the project management, and also the money we're gonna be spending on the final design work. And also into the beginning, potentially, and getting into all the final bidding, that'll pay for all that and into the full.
Okay,
Can you just let the people know what the project
Oh, I'm
is?
sorry.
Yeah.
This is 135 King Public Safety Center.
okay. So, proceed.
Is Linda online by chance?
So I have material from Linda that she left in all the signatures. So, what will happen is I'll make a motion. We'll get a second, we'll take a vote, and then Mr. Farag, as the clerk of the board, has to recite the vote of the select board. So can I have a motion to approve in connection with the offering of the notes the town has executed a significant events disclosure certificate dated as of the date hereof for $1.8 million, 4% general obligation bond, also known as anticipation notes of the town dated April 11th, 2025 and payable April 10th, 2026 to Fidelity Capital Markets.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Farag.
Thank you. I'm gonna read this off for the vote. Vote of the select board. I, the clerk of the select board of the town of Cohasset, Massachusetts, certify that at the meeting of the board held on April 8th, 2025, of which the meetings of all members of the board were duly notified and in which a quorum is present, the following votes were unanimously passed, all of which appear upon the official record of the board in my custody. Voted to approve the sale of $1.8 million, 4% general obligation bond anticipation notes, of the town dated April 11th, 2025 and payable April 10th, 2026 to Fidelity Capital Markets, a division of the National Financial Services LLC, at par and accrued interest, if any, plus a premium of $17,352. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the notes, the preparation and distribution of the notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated March 24th, 2025, and the final official statement dated April 1st, 2025, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted that the town treasurer and the select board be and are hereby are authorized to execute and deliver a significant events disclosure undertaking in compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12 in such form as any be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the notes for the benefit of the holders of the notes from time to time. Further voted that we authorize and direct the town treasurer to establish post-insurance federal tax compliance procedures and continuing disclosure procedures in such forms as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update said procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax exempt status of the notes and to comply with the relevant securities laws. Further voted that any certificates or documents related to the notes, collectively known as the documents, may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original, and all of which shall constitute one and the same document. Delivery and of an executed counterpart of signature page to a document by electronic mail in a PDF file or any other electronic transmission shall be as effective as the delivery of a manual executed counterpart. Signature page to such document and electronic signatures on any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purposes of the documents and all matters relating thereto, having the same legal effect as original signatures. Further voted, that each member of the select board, the town clerk, and the town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and to execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry out in effect the provisions of the foregoing votes. I hereby certify that the votes were taken at the meeting open to the public, that no vote was taken by secret ballot, that the notice stating the place, date, time, and the agenda for the meeting, which agenda included the adoption of the above votes, was filed with the town clerk, and a copy thereof posted in a manner conspicuously visible to the public at all hours in or on a municipal building, that the office of the town clerk is located, or if applicable in accordance with an alternative method of notice prescribed or approved by the Attorney General set forth in 940 CMR 229.03, subsection 2B, at least 48 hours, not including Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays prior to the same meeting, and remain so posted at a time of the meeting, that no deliberations or decision in connection with the sale of the notes were taken in executive session, all in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Sections 18 to 25, as amended. Dated April 8th, 2025. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So, and we have the documents, we'll pass them down that way for signature. Okay, next up, we are going to open a public hearing notice for the application for an LP gas license. Cohasset Select Board will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 at 7:05 PM or 2 minutes late at 91 Sawyer Street, Cohasset, Mass. 02025, or via Zoom with the link on the posted agenda on the town website, www.cohassetma.gov. Notice is hereby given under Chapter 148, Section 13, under Massachusetts General Laws, that the Select Board is the licensing authority for the town of Cohasset will hold a public hearing on the application of Hingham Lumber to apply for a license for flammable and combustible liquids, flammable gases, and solids. The applicant is proposing to increase their existing storage capacity located at 165 Chief Justice Cushing Highway. Public is invited to offer public input on this proposal in writing in advance of the public hearing or at the hearing. The town of Cohasset Select Board, 41 Highland Ave, Cohasset, Mass. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. This public hearing is now open, and who do we have? Chief Dockery? Just you?
It's me.
Okay.
Good evening, members. A couple months ago, Hingham Lumber came to us looking to increase their storage capacity of propane on their site. They were going to change their permit of flammable liquid storage from 1,000 to 1,500. They're going to add another 500 gallons of flammable liquids. And then we did a review of the site and determined that they also have some pre-filled propane, 20-pound propane tanks on site for sale. And then they also take in old used tanks, and all tanks are considered full until proven otherwise. So with these additional 500 gallons that they want to increase to, and all the tanks on their property, it brings them up to about 2,000 gallons of propane. And under the fire code, it requires them to have a state license. So that's why we're here in front of you tonight, or I'm here in front of you tonight, is to, they had submitted the paperwork for a site license, and I don't have the authority like you do to issue licenses in the community, so that's why we're here tonight.
Okay, do we have any questions, Mr. Plex?
I assume you're very comfortable with the plan and everything that you've seen.
Yep. Yep, we do an annual inspection, because they, even when they get their license, they still have to file an annual flammable liquid storage permit with us, and we have to go out and inspect it. So,
Mr. Grady?
That's what I was gonna ask, Chief. You comfortable with it?
yes,
Okay. That's all I need to know.
Mr. Creighton?
Well, I'm certainly comfortable with it, judging from the way in which they run their business, everything is clean, the rest of the business, so I'm very pleased to support this.
Mr. Farag?
I think it hasn't already been said.
Okay. All right, well, you answered my question. What was the capacity to what is the capacity? Is that this is all considered hazardous materials, right?
It's flammable.
Flammable.
Yeah, it's not hazardous until it leaves the container in like a leak
Okay.
or something like that. No, it's flammable. It becomes hazardous when it's not doing what it's supposed to be and it's not stored in its proper capacity.
Okay, so hazmat training's not required of
No,
staff?
No,
Okay,
no, their only training is how to dispense and what they have to do in the event that there's a leak or an emergency there.
okay. Okay, all right, so that being said, can I have a motion to approve the expansion of the license for Hingham Lumber at 165 Chief Justice Cushing Highway for flammable, combustible liquids, flammable gases and solids?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to close this public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up on our agenda, is a public hearing, transfer of license, to GBES, DBA Lenny's Hideaway. We're gonna open up the public hearing, but then we're gonna, defer it to another meeting. Is that correct? Yes, okay. So may I have a motion to, open up public hearing as the local licensing authority on April 8th at 7:10 PM at Wilcott Commons to consider the application for the transfer of license, Chapter 12, General On-Premise Annual All Alcohol License, New Manager, Alteration of Premises and Pledge of Collateral from RBLB Inc., DBA Lenny's Hideaway to GBES, DBA Lenny's Hideaway located at 8 Stagecoach Way, Cohasset, Mass.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so this hearing is now open and we will be advised when they want to come in to talk. April 29th. Okay. Jack, just for signatures. Okay. So next up then is a public hearing. Yes? Oh, so yes, thank you, Tracy. Can I have a motion to continue this public hearing on Lenny's Hideaway until April 29th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next up is, we need to open another public hearing on new general on-premise annual wine and malt license, common victualler license and entertainment permit for Stevie G's Restaurant, Cohasset, Massachusetts. Sorry, I'm gonna catch up here. Okay, so the Cohasset Select Board acting as a local licensing authority will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 at 7:15 PM at 91 Sawyer Street, Wilcott Commons, Cohasset, Mass. To consider the application for a new Chapter 12 wine and malt beverages annual alcohol license and common victualler license for Stevie G's Restaurant, Cohasset LLC, DBA Stevie G's for a family-friendly breakfast and lunch restaurant located at 380 Chief Justice Cushing Highway, Unit G, Cohasset, Mass. Proposed managers, Andrew Loconsalo. Premises consist of a single first floor, 2 rooms, dining room and kitchen. There are no outdoor areas. The area is 2,485 square feet with 2 entrances and 2 exits. Total occupancy is 99 with a seating capacity of 75. So I have a motion to open the hearing.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have anyone from Stevie G's? Hi.
Members of the board.
Hi, okay. I think that's on, if not, press the
Okay.
button. Hi.
All right. Hi, guys. So my name's Andrew Loconsolo, one of the owners of Stevie G's Restaurant. We currently have a location in Rockland, Massachusetts. We've been operating for about 3 years now. We have an all alcohol liquor license there, but I know the town of Cohasset doesn't have those. So we're applying for a beer and wine license.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about the restaurant and the concept?
Sure. So it's a family-friendly breakfast and lunch restaurant. Basically, what we're looking to do is offer like craft cocktails, mimosas, and things like that paired with food. And so we've been operating 3 years in Rockland now, and our hope is to kind of do the same template that we do there in the Cohasset location.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Plex?
No, sounds like a good concept.
Mr. Grady?
Where's Stevie G?
So she's my daughter. She's at home right now, my wife.
So, in the application, you are being positioned as the general manager, which requires a certain number of hours on site.
Correct.
Correct.
40 hours on site. Yep.
So were you the general manager at the other locations?
So my brother and I are partners. So my brother Matt is staying in the Rockland location.
Okay.
He's listed as the manager for Rockland, and then I'll be listed as the manager in Cohasset.
Okay. Okay, great. Mr. Creighton, any questions?
I'm fine.
Mr. Farag?
No, seems straightforward.
Okay, so, Mr. Senior, we have 2 licenses or 3? 2, right? 3, entertainment.
Entertainment, comic book.
Okay. Grady has a question.
Yes.
So you know that Cohasset's applied for more licenses.
Yes.
Would you be looking to upgrade after that if we were approved?
If approved,
Mixed mimosas and mixed drinks, that's why. I'm asking.
yes. So in the particular plaza that we're located in, there's a clause in there that doesn't actually allow any all alcohol
Oh.
because of another tenant in the plaza, as far as I'm concerned. So what we're hoping eventually someday is maybe like Cohasset adopting the cordial license, because that kind of allows us to do the same template where you can do like, creative, you could offer like Bailey's and do an Irish coffee, and there's a lot of drinks that we offer in Rockland that just operate under a cordial license, but that's obviously something that would have to be adopted by the town.
Chris, have you ever had one of those before? Cordial license?
It requires time and action to adopt a different section of state law.
Awesome. Okay.
And the covenant prohibiting you from having an all alcohol license, that's a landlord
It's a landless.
covenant. It's not us. Yeah, I just want everyone to be clear that it's not the town of Cohasset saying there's someone else already there. You can't have one.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, we're going to have 3 motions here. Can I have a motion to approve DVGs for an annual alcohol license for beer and wine?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I have a motion to approve Stevie G's for common victualler license?
So moved.
Second?
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Finally, can I have a motion to approve Stevie G's for an entertainment license?
So moved.
May I have a second?
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I have a motion to close this public hearing?
So moved.
May I have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We're all
very
set.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Look
it.
forward to, when do you think you're gonna open?
So we're shooting for like a June opening.
Okay.
Our rent just commenced April 1st, so hopefully in June we'll be open.
Okay,
What
All
kind of
right.
food for-
So we're a brunch place, breakfast and lunch, everything from eggs Benedict to, sandwiches and stuff like that.
Good.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to,
Welcome.
thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
okay. Next up. One more hearing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, club. Okay. Can I have a motion to open a public?
Madam Chairman, I'm a member of the yacht club. I need to recuse myself.
Okay, you can listen to the conversation.
I can? I thought I was
I-
supposed to be not even in the room.
Well, it's a public meeting. You can watch it on tape. I mean,
Well,
um,
I'll stay right here and keep my mouth
yeah,
shut, difficult as that may be.
let's give it a shot, Jack. So. Okay, so, can I have a motion to open the public hearing for the application for change of manager, change of hours, and change of officers for Cohasset Yacht Club on Tuesday, April 8th at 7:20 PM?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second,
All All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
Chris Plex abstain.
Jack Creighton abstain?
Well, I abstain.
Jack Creighton abstain. So it's 3-2, Tracy. Thank you. Okay, who do we have from the yacht club?
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Attorney Ryan Gazda on behalf of Cohasset Yacht Club. With me as well in the audience is Paula Curran, Eric Cruz, and Charles O'Connor, who is the new proposed manager of record for the yacht club. As the board might recall, back in 2023, the club was recently granted a new Section 12 license. And since that time, they've been operating without incident. But we're here tonight to basically make some housekeeping administrative updates with respect to changes at the club since that time. Firstly, with respect to the change of officers and directors, there was recently an appointment of a new Commodore for the club, and changes had been filed with respect to the officers and directors on file with the Secretary of State. So we are now seeking to update both the board's records and the ABCC's records, that those all match with what's on file with the Secretary of State. Secondly, with respect to the change of manager of record, Charles O'Connor has recently been appointed as the new full-time GM for the bar at the club. And he will be replacing Eric Cruz as the former manager of record. He is a both U.S. citizen, Massachusetts resident. He is tip certified and has experience as a similar manager of record for a yacht club in excess of 10 years. So he has experience in the industry as a manager of record for a yacht club specifically. Lastly, with respect to the current days and hours of operation, the club is currently only open on Mondays and Tuesdays during legal holidays. We're seeking to update that to include 7 days per week with the same hours of operation, to basically grant additional flexibility for the club to the extent that they have special events such as regattas or weddings that typically happen to fall on Mondays and Tuesdays. So it's really just to give the club more flexibility in terms of programming, but nothing is really changing on the ground in terms of the day-to-day. Other than these changes, no changes operationally. But we're certainly happy to answer any questions or address any concerns that you might have.
Okay. Mr. Grady?
So can you back up? What are you open now for? And what you're asking for an additional 5 days?
Presently, we are open on Monday and Tuesday only during holidays. And Wednesday to Friday, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Saturday to Sunday, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. So the only real addition would be 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday and Tuesday, not on holidays.
Thank you.
Mr. Frog?
I don't have any questions, but we should, so the people at home can see if they want to bring up the new manager as well. If he's present,
Charles,
so at least they can see who it is.
It's a
Grab a
private,
chair.
it's a private club. so-
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, well.
Hello, I'm Charlie.
Hi, Charlie, how are you? Now, we have, as I mentioned to the last applicant, we have a 40-hour-a-week requirement of our managers on site. So with the additional 2 days,
Yes,
that's not going to be an issue?
not an issue.
Okay. I do have a question, Attorney, that you said Mondays and Tuesdays, excluding the holidays, which was in the past, are primarily for events and such. So is it only to open for those events, or is it to be open Monday and Tuesday, 5 to 10? And then if you have an event, you have an event.
Exactly. It basically would have the 5 to 10 p.m. 7 days per week to the event, to the extent that they happen to have an event that falls on one of those days. So it would have 5 to 10 Monday and Tuesday.
Regardless if there's no
Regardless.
event. Okay, okay, understood. Okay, change of hours, change of officers. Chris, Mr. Senior, we don't need to be engaged in the change of officers of the yacht club. Just the change of hours, change of manager. Okay. All right, and it's 2 separate motions? Okay. So can I have does anyone have any questions? No? I would assume because you're asking for additional days. I remember you, Mr. Cruz, from when you were here before, and you said if it didn't work out, you'd gladly give back the license. But I would say that since you're asking for additional time, it's working out well for the club.
They seem happy.
They seem happy, good.
I've had numerous instances where we have nice deal have openings on Monday and Tuesday because in regattas.
Mhm.
We applied for a license thinking for operating hours and giving ourselves long-term flexibility, and our operating hours are intent to not change our operating hours. We just kind of hamstringed ourselves, but that's so it's kind
Okay,
of.
okay, great. Do you have any questions for us? No, okay. So can I have a motion to approve the expansion of open hours at Cohasset Yacht Club to include Monday and Tuesday from 5 to 10 PM?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All abstained?
Chris Plex abstain.
Jack Creighton abstains.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve Charles O'Connor as the new manager for Cohasset Yacht Club?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All abstain?
Chris Plex abstains.
Jack Creighton abstains.
Okay, so I think that's it for our votes. So can I have a motion to close the public hearing for Cohasset Yacht Club?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Abstain?
Chris Plex abstains.
Jack Creighton abstained.
Great, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
See, I did get to speak after.
Okay, next up, the Healing Field event. Is Phil Mahoney coming or is he online? He's not, okay. I think this is pretty perfunctory. We've been doing this for several years at this point. Sorry, let me just catch up. So we have an application for the Healing Field event. The event itself is May 24th, 2025, from noon to 2 PM. The application was pretty complete with all of the police and public safety issues, clearly articulated in the application. Does anyone have any questions? No. May I have a vote to approve the Healing Field event on May 24th, 2025?
So moved.
May I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Creighton. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next up is, oh, hi, Chief. We just approved the Healing Field. It's pretty perfunctory. We do the same thing every year, right? There's no change?
No, that's all good. Yeah, it's everything's as it was. The only addition to both the Healing Field celebration in the Memorial Day Parade is we're starting some of these events where there's hundreds of people in the street. We're starting to harden the roadblocks that we use on either end. If people noticed this weekend at the road race, we're using DPW trucks to hard block some of these intersections so no one can penetrate that. But that's the only change, and unfortunately, we have to change with the times.
Okay. And I did notice. Okay, right. So next up is the Memorial Day Parade event, May 26, 2025, from 8 AM to 3 PM. Are there any questions? Nope. May I have a motion to approve the Memorial Day Parade?
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Grady moved it. Mr. Creighton, second. Do
Either one.
you want a second?
Second, of course.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Bert. Thanks.
I will say the Memorial Day event is one of the best days in Cohasset all year. Yeah. Okay, so the next event, it's just a proclamation for us to vote and sign. So I will read it and then we will vote for it. So proclamation in honor of Arbor Day. Whereas Arbor Day was first celebrated in Nebraska in 1872 with the planting of more than 1 million trees, and is now celebrated throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce erosion, cut heating and cooling costs, clean the air, provide habitat for wildlife, increase property values, and beautify our community. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and renewal. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the citizens of Cohasset, we hereby proclaim April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the town of Cohasset, and encourage all residents to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to plant trees to promote the well-being of this and future generations. Given under our hands and the seal of the town of Cohasset on this 8th day of April in the year 2025. We need a vote to approve the proclamation. May I have a motion to approve the proclamation of Arbor Day?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, next up, the School Facilities Committee, a vote to sunset. So, School Facilities Committee is a bylaw committee that was originated back in the early 2000s, Chris, I think, when the present middle high school was redone. It lay dormant for several years until about 2021, I forget. And it was regurgitated, it was resuscitated in to facilitate and support any and all actions that the school district might have regarding new buildings or repairs or maintenance. They have since feel they have completed their charge with the approval and the execution of the feasibility study with the applications to MSBA for the accelerated repair program for the Osgood roof that was successful, and with the current statement of interest to the MSBA for a core project. So they would like to sunset. They're down to 4 members out of a panel of 9, 2 of which are whose tenure expires this year anyway. So we're not going to have a bylaw change. We're going to keep the ability to have the committee. We just want to sunset the current members. Does anyone have any questions? No. So can I have a motion to sunset the existing school facilities committee?
So move.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next up. Oh, good, we're 20 minutes ahead. The town warrant review.
Advisory, ran through all, everything last week, and so, we're in the home stretch here. So, first article up for your consideration, CB, is Article 4. Major change after all the public presentations we had here in advisory was to extend comments, current comments that are going to effect, they'll stay in effect for the next year, right through next month. That'll give us time not only to develop some policies, but to see what see what a good price might actually be as we go through the process. So advisory recommended approval by a vote of 7 after further considerations.
So I just, I want to say that I was at the end pleased with how the process worked, because the process worked. And despite all of the chatter on Facebook and concern that was expressed, it's the role of advisory to do exactly what they did. We were presented with a concept, we embraced it. The RTF as an enterprise fund, it goes to advisory with a fresh set of eyes and ears and different perspectives. They challenged it, they asked good questions, they spoke on behalf of the people, and they came back to the town and said, these are our thoughts and concerns, and so changes were made. So I think it's a great example of how advisory works with us, because it's difficult when we're in the weeds of every issue to be able to sit back and reflect from a different perspective, from the perspective of a citizen and a voter or a family person, you know, looking at what's this going to cost me. So I really appreciate advisory and their thoughtful and cogent comments. Does anyone have any comments or questions on Article 4? The creation of the enterprise fund for the RTF?
Ellen, one question. So the article is just the creation of the enterprise fund. It's not any of the details around what are we charging for?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Creighton?
That would, I second what Selectman Flex brought up. I'm very much in favor of what we're doing here. Some of the cost things, I'm getting a lot of feedback from around town. I'm not sure it's completely resolved, but as far as the enterprise being the solution, I'm all in for that.
Hey, Mr. Farag?
I think everything was covered in the last meeting. I would say that part of the good thing about a public process is that it's public. I think one of the problems is that when we have a policy discussion over what might happen out there, was that the cart got before the horse with a lot of people out there, especially in the virtual or social media world, saying that this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and it's going to be tomorrow, and we haven't even voted on it yet. So I would just remind people to please go to the town website to get the information that in a process, people get to vote on it. So this article goes in front of town meeting and town meeting gets to vote on it. Just like it goes through the boards first in order to do that. And so that is the public process, is town meeting. So unlike what you've been hearing on social media, that is the public process and people get to participate in it. And so I wish people would participate in the town meeting and not as much on social media. And it would make government flow a lot better. So, thank you.
Great. Do you want to say something?
No, I understand the confusion that popped up on social media. You have a lot of people that, justifiably concerned with it, but they go to the lowest common denominator because they're worried. And I'm thrilled with the advisory, I'm thrilled with all the process, but it is, David said it perfectly, it's a process. So,
Until we vote, it's,
until we vote, it's a process.
it's a
It's an
discussion,
idea,
yeah.
it germinates, it grows. And you're gonna, if we plant that grows, not every leaf is perfect until you start to pluck it and trim it out. So I think that it worked out well, and I think this is really the only viable solution for what we're doing up at the RTF. That's all.
Great, thank you. Okay, so, may I have a motion to recommend to town meeting floor Article 4, creation of an enterprise fund for the RTF?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One down, Article 5, the operating budget.
So you have in front of you all the materials now that the schools have voted, they have adopted a budget that's fiscally balanced based on their fees that they're generating. And the money that comes in later on here to help them bridge the creation of special education services. There's also the advisory committee has voted unanimously to support the town side budget. And we'll be hearing the school budget at their next meeting. They unfortunately, they didn't have the same amount of school. So we
Right.
had a chance to see it. So I don't think there'll be any issue going forward. So that, again, you have all materials on how to just answer any additional question.
So when the school committee and the superintendent came to present to us, the delta between what they felt they needed and what the town had for them was about $1.2 million, correct? Give or take? Okay, so they have done yeoman's work to bridge that gap and come in on an operating budget that is on the number that the town has provided to them. Cohasset's unusual in the sense that the school district knows at the start of the budget season exactly what money is available. That's not always the case in every municipality. And so it just makes it much easier. A lot of towns fight on town meeting floor for what money the schools want, what money the town can afford, and they're reworking the budget on town meeting floor. We've had a very successful system in place for quite some time. It's not keeping up with the cost of life anymore for the town side or the school side. But I just wanted to give a shout out to our new superintendent and the leadership team and the school committee for drafting a budget that's on plan. Does anyone have any questions about any of the budget items? No? Okay, so may I have a motion?
Give a shout out to the school. Mike, can I say something?
Sure, of course.
I'm gonna give a shout out solely to the school superintendent on coming in, tackling a project that, and work with the school committee, that I'll leave it on that side with the new superintendent for pushing things together and give her a little bit of kudos.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on the operating budget? No? Okay, so can I have a motion to recommend to town meeting floor Article 5, the operating budget for the town of Cohasset for FY 26?
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, Article 7, supplemental appropriation for fiscal 2025. So for the year we're in.
So the first one is a standard transfer, which we might update for the meeting last quarter number in. And that's the money we get from Verizon and Comcast and goes to the TV station. Second number is the number that after I spoke with Superintendent Shannon, I plugged in as folder here, and that's free cash. Essentially close their deficit for FY25. I think we've all seen the current run up, and I think their number is gonna hopefully be lower. But this is the number that was at the higher end of the estimate that the superintendent gave me. I'd rather have a higher number in it, less at town meeting. And even if we use this number at town meeting and they come in less, it'll just roll to free cash for next year. So the mine doesn't go away. So this is, and again, advisory recommended, vote on this unanimously as well.
Does anyone have any questions on either two of these actions? No, so may I have a motion to recommend to town meeting floor Article 7 supplemental appropriation for fiscal year 2025?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, Article 8, stabilization and other special funds.
And this is the regular transfer, more than was originally put into the budget, but less than our practice, but we'll catch up with the rest of the fall for OPEB. And then shows the full 2.5% increase on the capital, so bringing it up to $2.146 million.
Okay. And so Chris, this is a stupid question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. If the school number comes in at less than 650, can we make a motion on town meeting floor if we so chose? I'm not saying we will, to increase the amount to PEB?
We could bring it up to the full amount, which I think was like it needs about another $100,000.
Okay. But we can do that on the floor and not wait till the fall,
Yeah, we can.
if we so chose, okay, just a thought. Because I know there had been some concerns about that, and,
And that's really, that was the big driver of this too. It was just the uncertainty in the schools. We would have fully funded all of this. It just, we have to pay our bills today, right, first off.
right. Okay, so may I have a motion to recommend to town meeting floor Article 7 stabilization and other special funds?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Article 9, the capital improvements budget. I think we've been through most everything as a board. I don't know if anyone has any questions on either the enterprise fund for water and sewer and their projects or the general fund. No questions? Did everyone see in project number 26? The town hall? Just don't want anyone to be surprised by that number. Okay, no comments? No? No, the appropriation for town hall, 3,968,000.
That fully funds it,
Fully funds
plus
the project as we have
as we
designed.
present.
Which and then includes then adds, we add in
Right,
CPC
and
and
plus the CPC, plus the funds already been allocated, it makes the full.
so we're where we want to be.
We're right where we want to be.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it's doesn't come into play until FY 27, and we have debt rolling off out of capital. And so this is replacement debt, so it really isn't going to impact, shouldn't impact their ability to do all of the other funding projects that they do.
That's correct. And we'll obviously continue to, find other sources of this additional cash or something else that we can pay some of this debt on the front end.
Okay,
I will say it's been a team effort and they've been fantastic. So I want to thank Capital publicly.
yeah, and I think they were pleased that they were able to do most everything that was asked. I think the only thing that was modified were the 2 athletic vans. They cut it down to 1. Someone has a
There's a
question?
question.
Yeah, for items.
Is he coming online?
Yeah, he's gonna ask.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just here if you have any questions, but Ellen, you summed it up pretty well. The only thing is the motion for the town hall will be a little wordy because we've chosen to allocate about $80,000 of cash from FY26 to just lower the debt service.
And to do that as opposed to making 26A and have 80,000 come out of capital. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
Again, our thanks
yeah.
to you and Capital.
No,
Oh,
everyone,
okay.
yeah, everyone did it. All the departments were great work by all departments this cycle. Great information from everybody. Lots of good rounds. And our total appropriation came in just under. Our total recommendations came in just under, which allowed us to have a little bit of extra money for to get ahead of the town hall project. So everything went through fully approved or fully recommended by capital budget. The one thing is the LOS tower, which there was concerns by one member, so you see a 4-1 vote, and I'm guessing that concern will probably be brought up to town meeting floor. So
Okay. Okay, thank you, Corey. We'll strategize at a later point when we convene about, if you want select board support, speaking at town meeting on any of these items, we're certainly happy to do so. Okay, so Chris, does this need 2 motions, one for the enterprise fund and one for the general fund? Or just a recommendation of the article?
If we're prepared to vote on all, the capital broke a little because some of them recused themselves because of their participation
On different things, right, okay. No further discussion from the select board? Okay, may I have a motion to recommend Article 9, capital improvement budget to town meeting floor?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, Article 10, allocation of funds for one-time costs. Mr. Senior?
This is, there's a few things in here. This is some money coming out of the cemetery sale of graves fund, and that's going into cemetery maintenance. The remainder is all various amounts of free cash. The first goes to a teacher retirement incentive. It was originally projected to be higher, but only one teacher took the incentive. So it's $15,000. It's actually a little bit less, it's like 14,000 and change. Just rounded it to 15 to make it safe. The special education bridge expenses, they only asked for 150, so that's what's in here. That should be enough according to the budget projections. These are contract settlements, the next amount, which hopefully won't need all of it, but it's there because we don't have, unfortunately, any contracts settled. We're moving along. The hydration stations is the next phase of them. It's Alumni Field, it's Beechwood, and I think it's the library. I think it's the as part of this, and then after some additional review, there's going to have to be some work done at the some additional equipment done at the RTF, and it's just better to make the investment now and do the upgrade. Because the schools made a few adjustments, we had a little bit more free cash. It's just we're going to have to do some work over the summer, so this just made a lot of sense. And we Michelle and I'll go back to capital, hopefully in a couple of weeks, or a little more detailed breakdown of what this will be. But we're still trying to finalize that.
Okay.
And again, I was recommending to nothing.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? No? Okay, so can I have a motion to recommend to town meeting floor Article 10, allocation of funds for a one-time cost?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next up, 11 and 12, we're gonna skip right now, or we already voted on them. Okay,
CPC,
is Article 14, CPC.
I think you've heard all these, so this is it's town hall project, the Holly Hill project, and a couple of others doing some work, the housing authority to repair some roofs.
And the fencing at Sandy Beach.
Yeah.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
Just to comment,
Yes,
publicly thank CPC again for working so collaboratively with all the boards.
great, okay. Can I have a motion to recommend to town meeting floor Article 14, CPC?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Article 15, removal of Cohasset Fire Department from civil service. This is kind of a placeholder
Yeah,
or?
we're still in ongoing negotiations. I'm hoping that even if we're not done, that we'll I will propose some language in a motion that would allow it. That would make it contingent on us reaching an agreement. And again, we're in no way attempting to force it. I just, if we're close but not quite there, I'd like to be able to at least have time to vote it. And then rather than have to wait all the way a little bit more, if we can get a deal fairly soon. Again, we're still actively engaged.
Okay, so we will make our recommendation at annual town meeting. Okay, Article 16, Town Hall Auditorium lease. So this is in conjunction with the repair project of the annex and the, from the funding from CPC and from capital budget. And this, the town gives the select board authority to negotiate a lease. It's not the terms of the lease, it's the authority to negotiate the lease. Is that correct? Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Gives us the authority to enter into one as well, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, to negotiate it.
Negotiate, enter into, okay, I just wanted to
Okay.
clarify, I just wanted to clarify.
Within the boundaries of your ability, right? You
Yeah.
can't do 99-year lease.
Yeah.
We have to fit within the law.
Right. Anyone have any questions about this?
It looks like there are placeholders.
Yeah, I think we're gonna, we would still play that council as the exact form of how it should read. I think we're gonna try to make it a little bit more vague. And then when I say that, I mean vague, I mean, I don't know if we need to put all of that detail in or not. I think everyone understands what 41 Avenue is, but we will go back, we're going back and forth with the council about the exact. Like, it's not gonna change the authorization, it's just how to identify the building.
All right, so. Go ahead.
I don't mean to be a pain.
No, sorry.
Can we vote on it then if what we're looking at is?
Well, it's, I would say that what has to go in there is ministerial, because it's just getting the specific dates of the, what the plan, of the plan that it sits on.
Yep.
Right? Because the building is, from 1858 originally, so, the original plot plan is probably, is in the registry of deeds, I don't think we actually have it.
So subject to resolution of the highlighted section.
Yes.
Which is so administrative, we probably don't even need to mention it. So, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Mr. Creighton?
Yeah, I think this is well done. And this is a wonderful way in which we're able to preserve our town hall and also start funding a very good consolidation of the various arts groups. This is a wonderful thing that I think our town of Cohasset has a unique ability to do these innovative ways of preserving our historic building, funding the arts and other types of activities, and bringing us all together after a very long period of time. And I think it's a great idea.
Mr. Parag?
I think that this idea is long overdue. I mean, we've tried everything else and we've come to this to, fix up the town hall on one side and then look to lease the auditorium and so that people know at home, it's not just one group, but the group that is looking to do this was an amalgamation of a number of different nonprofits in town that all came together and some citizens as well. So they've been working on it for over a year, if not more. And I think it as the article says, this is just giving the select board the ability to negotiate. So it doesn't get into the details of what a potential lease could be. That'll be negotiated later. So it's an idea that's long overdue, and it's the only way to save the historic part of town hall. So if you want to save the historic part of town hall and make sure it's operating and fits in with conjunction with the town common, which it should, this is the way to go, and this is the article to vote for. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have one comment about the title of the article, Town Hall Auditorium, because it's beyond the auditorium.
It should say, town hall lease or something more like that.
I mean, we can't say the historic structure because it's not the entire historic structure. First floor and
Well, don't they call it the hall at 41 Highland? Is that commonly under?
But I know that.
That's their name.
Basement includes.
the changing rooms, and they want to do things behind the stage, and I mean,
think just town hall lease would encapsulate,
okay,
I might add,
it give the spectrum there.
And the information somewhere will put it.
what we're talking about, okay.
fire, Chris, maybe just spin the words around, auditorium and hall. It encompasses everything, that your auditorium and hall. There's the historic part right now, so we're not getting into the upstairs, but that includes the basement, the auditorium, anything ancillary behind it. That should pretty much cover it, I would think.
It might have the front part of the second floor.
That's be part of the lease, Dave, so that's again, if it works out, that's the stuff that talking about right now,
Yeah.
just but that's what I'm saying, if you maybe just spun the words around. So people,
Honestly, I think that's confusing because it is town hall.
it is town hall, auditorium and hall.
Yeah.
Or auditorium and hall.
May I make a suggestion? We leave it to Chris and legal counsel maybe to come up with what the
Yeah.
name of the article is.
Whatever, Carolyn.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. Nonetheless, though, we can recommend Article 16. Correct? Does anyone have a problem doing that? Knowing that
No.
knowing that the language is going to change and perhaps the name of the title?
We know the substance, it just has to be reflected.
Okay, so may I have a motion to recommend a town meeting floor, Article 16, the Town Hall Auditorium / other spaces lease?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, last up, citizens petition expand the sewer district, Article 18.
So the sewer commission has not yet voted, though I think their vote's pending. And there's some other questions about open permits that are settled involving the Board of Health as well, so hopefully we'll have a little more clarity by the either next meeting before town meeting about where this all is, and you can, hear them. But right now, without, the sewer commission needs to vote, one or
Okay,
the other to determine how it goes forward.
so in the warrant, it'll be select board recommendation at town
That's what,
meeting.
that's what.
Okay. Is everyone okay with that? Do we need to vote that? We're going to recommend a town meeting floor.
We don't have any info, no.
Mr. Plex?
Me too.
Entirely with Mr. Farag. A lot of questions about this funding. So prior to voting on it, I would like some more information.
We will have something, once the sewer commission votes, a formal presentation for all of you before, probably on the 29th.
But this,
But we need to close the warrant tonight, so,
You do.
so we need something in this article.
So recommendation at town meeting would be recommendation that you put in. If people, if you vote something beforehand, we'll put it on the website, we'll put it, it'll definitely be in the motions. You don't have to vote at town meeting, you can vote before.
Okay, we just can't vote tonight.
Well, no, there's really you don't have, there's not enough information, it's not final enough, unfortunately.
So the vote tonight would just be to have it on the warrant?
Well, it's already on the warrant.
It's already on the warrant.
So
The vote tonight would be to recommend it at town meeting. For us not to, we're not going to vote on it. Our recommendation will be at town meeting.
we can flesh this out. We can ask a question too, right?
Yes, they're going to come on the 29th for the presentation, so we're not going to be getting it at town meeting floor. We'll know, we'll have the full scope of it on April the 29th. The warrant just has to close now.
Have I asked a question?
Yes,
But this is primarily a singular citizen.
this is a citizen's petition
This is,
for,
but primarily it's for a single citizen looking to build.
it's for one particular parcel that's been subdivided.
All right, that's what I wanted to know. That's what I thought. So
okay, so may I have a motion? How do I do this? To recommend our vote at town meeting for Article 18? Or we just leave it?
Usually like you did the last, when we,
Okay, we'll just leave it then. We don't need a motion.
you have one last motion.
Yeah, we have one last motion. Can I have a motion to close, sign, and publish the 2025 annual town meeting warrant?
so moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well done, Chris and team. And Tracy. How many versions have you done, Tracy?
We lost count a long time.
You lost count. I've got it here somewhere. I think Tracy left everything for me to sign. Okay,
So we just need all of you to sign on the last page.
since we're ahead of schedule, can we just take a moment and sign everything? We can do it at the end. It's up to you guys, but
Still signed.
I'm sorry.
Do it now so somebody doesn't slip out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be big.
Don't look at me.
Oh, did I? My signature's getting sloppier and sloppier. Okay. We're about 9 minutes ahead of schedule. Tracy, did you give me something for the town warrant? Okay. They're on the clipboard, they're all signed. Shall we proceed, or do you guys want a minute?
No, we'll see.
Okay, we can proceed. So the town manager update.
So first, the road race was this past weekend. It was a great event. The weather was a little chippy in the morning for the block, at which Safe Harbor actually took over in rain, which they still had 40-50 participants, which was great considering the weather, and they had more than that people actually signed up. And fortunately, the weather broke, and for the runners, it's great. It was overcast and cool, and really no wind. It's always a wonderful cross section of the town that comes out with support. Well, the weather's a little bit nicer, it would have been a bigger crowd and along the route. That said, it was still a great day, and they're already done such great things with all the resources they raise. Many thanks to the whole community for its support. And pivoting, our search for a finance director will continue. So Megan and I met this week, went over a new ad and an updated job description, and we're looking to post 2 weeks. Start we've also targeted a couple of folks that we have special interest in, and we're going to continue to work with as well. And we'll see if we can get them to apply. So it's a goal. Our firm has done great. Our assistant accountant has been doing great. Our finance team has been great. That said, I think it's the account. Stuff a lot easier. Mine included. So that's what we do.
Okay, great, thank you. Yeah, keep us posted on the finance director update. You know, we are moving forward with a lot of big projects, and we need the finance taken care of, and you need to be able to shift. So thank you. Select board comments, Mr. Plex?
Very briefly, backing on the comment about the race this weekend, the Safe Harbor team really did an excellent job with those signs. Even the people who weren't in the, saw those around. It was a great day for the town, but I especially want to thank the Safe Harbor team for those signs.
Mr. Grady?
Yeah, I'd like to bring up, it's happened a couple times, is the parking in Cohasset. People are parking, and someone sent me a picture actually of a car parked halfway on the driveway, halfway in the street. We actually got yelled at by a lady pushing her carriage with her baby. She had to circle out onto the roads. I've noticed this on South Main, North Main, in different parts of town. People are just throwing cars, they're leaving them overnight. So in different areas, they're sneaking into the town lot where it's not supposed to be, and in the private lot sometimes. But it's mostly the on-street parking that's causing real difficulty, especially in the Main Street area and down around the Harbor District too. So the areas where the new Cohasset Hospitality Park, people start to fill in there, and we really got to start being cognizant of that, especially on the Main Street in those areas, public thoroughways. I've seen it. It's walking the dogs. I'm walking out onto the street that people are parked in front of the restaurant, and just right up on the sidewalk, and over and above, or just double parked or in the driveway, sticking halfway out in the street, because they're visiting friends. I think that we're gonna have to look into that and, maybe I don't know. I'm not knocking our guys on the force at all. Just maybe we have to be more cognizant of ticketing and things like that. We're looking into some sort of enforcement or signage.
Well, the good news is that our 3 newest officers, I just talked to the chief this morning, entered the regular rotation in a couple of weeks. Their probation is almost over. So, I say their training is almost over, their probation. So they'll make more bodies to do that, and I know that there's usually a concerted effort to pick up that as we get into spring and there's more people in the village and down by the harbor.
I'm just saying, I'm thinking that, and also, again, maybe some more signage in different areas, and when we pass part of the Valor Act to the taxes, we have any people that could be interested in basically doing meter work to a degree, you know, ticketing. We can do that. That's so we aren't taking up busy parts of our police force day, you know, like the fellow that does the crossing guard at the school. Just some ideas out there. That's all. I just want to, I want to start kicking that off.
Thank you, Mr. Creighton.
Well, I want to point out one of the great successes and one of the things that makes Cohasset such a special town is we've been working on the town hall issue for a number of years. Certainly well beyond the 6 years that I've been privileged to be on the select board. It is so nice to getting this finally where we can see victory, if I can say victory, in sight. And I think a shout out goes to all the citizens, you know, people like Glenn Pratt and all that, and the efforts of my fellow select board members. So we have something that not only solves, we hope, the town hall issue at a very affordable price, but it provides a cultural mecca for Cohasset, for our arts groups, for our drama groups, and we're preserving the hall at Highland Avenue. And I just think for those people who get cynical about our town government, what you saw is the result of people getting involved from the grassroots in committees and discussion groups, and yes, vigorous discussions on social media. So I think we should be very grateful that we live in a town of Cohasset, of a character that it is. And it also means that each and every one of our citizens, we need to understand that if we need, that we should participate, we be part of it. And that's when the magic happens. So again, I'm very proud of our town.
Thank you, Mr. Farag.
Thank you. Just briefly, I think the comments were made earlier, but as far as going through the budget process and having not only the town government side, but also the schools working together as much as they can to bring the budget where it should be. And part of that helps in creating the stability over the years. And I think if you look at the other towns in the South Shore and beyond, if you see the news of the other towns and how they're dealing with budgets and how things can be left to chaos, not only on town meeting floor, but left to override votes that don't go, and then they have to go back and cut things. I think the Cohasset model, having everyone try and work together, and while people have different opinions, that's certainly fine too, but I think the Cohasset model creates stability, whereas where the other towns where it's just left to the end to fight about leads to chaos and leads to unintended consequences that they might not have looked at. So I would just hope that we keep the same Cohasset model going that we've been using, which has created stability, which has helped not only the town side, but also the school system, and also helped it to be stabilized so that it can be a top 20 school system here in the state. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay. I don't know how many of us subscribe to the MMA email alerts. I had a moment to read 2 of them this week. I generally don't read any of them, but there's some important legislative alerts coming up that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention. There's the key budget priorities. We do our budget and then the budget long after the fact. And there are targeted areas that the state will be looking at, and some of these really impact us. Chapter 70 school aid, increasing the minimum to $150 a student. Special education circuit breaker fully funded, which it hasn't been. Circuit breaker has been a critical component of the school budget recently, and charter school reimbursements fully funded. We pay for charter school reimbursements. Those were a couple of the things that I saw there. And then on Thursday, there's a joint committee on transportation. They're having a hearing this Thursday on the Chapter 90 bond bill for our Chapter 90 roads and road fund. And they're looking to increase that as well. $300 million per year for a period of 5 years, and then 200 to be apportioned to the Chapter 90 formula, so we would get a portion of that. And we all know how important roads and sidewalks are and how important the Chapter 90 money is in conjunction with our stabilization fund. So with the board's permission, I would be happy to draft a note to Representative Moschino and Senator O'Connor affirming our desires and requests to support these funding initiatives to benefit the town of Cohasset.
You got mine?
Is that a, we don't have to vote on it, but I'm just, because it's not, so,
I think it's a great idea.
okay, thank you, Mr. Plex.
Me too.
What day is today? Today's Tuesday. Last Thursday, I had been invited. There's a men's group that meets here. I think it's every Thursday or every other Thursday from 9 to 11. And I had been asked to come down to talk about the RTF because of all of the information that was out there. And we had a really great conversation. We talked about the RTF, and generally that group, I'm going to say there may be 12 to 15 gentlemen there. They were in support of it once they heard what it was really about. And then we talked on some other things. And my point of bringing this up is the more we can talk to people about these initiatives with the facts, the more support we'll get and the less misinformation that will be out there. Paul and I have volunteered to Meg Stewart to come down and spend an hour and go through the warrant with anyone that wants to do it. We're working out the time of when it's going to work best for our schedules. But even if we can get 20 or 15 people or 25 people to come down and better understand the warrant and what we're trying to accomplish as a town, that's 15 or 20 more supporters that we might have. I was at the road race, did the registration. They had 605 people registered from all across the Commonwealth, out of state as well. I didn't stay to see who won. It was too cold, but it is a great event, and the Rotary does tremendous work in the town of Cohasset. And I know they're looking for members as well. So that's all I have. Next up, approval of minutes of March 25th, 2025. Are there any comments or questions on it? May I have a motion to approve the select board minutes of March 25th, 2025?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstention.
Is there something in the minutes you didn't think was,
I have a long-standing say
Okay.
that the minutes do not properly, the procedure is flawed. There's been numerous select board votes on minutes in which information was
numerous?
reportedly, you asked, I
Oh,
was just
okay,
gonna say
okay.
that. I would have been just soon to
Okay,
find it, but if you
okay.
want to know why, it's
I
because.
just didn't know if you had read these minutes and found fault
I-
with them. That's
that
what
was
I'm
not
asking.
That's,
That-
well, that's fine,
That's what I was
but I'm
asking.
not responding to that. I'm explaining why I
Okay.
abstained. You brought it up. I was just gonna let it be, but it's
Okay.
pretty obvious that some of the minutes have not been accurate. And I feel that it should
Okay.
have a better process, but I don't think there's the votes to go forward on that, but I will still abstain. Thank you.
Okay. All right. We do have a topic not reasonably anticipated within 48 hours. It should be brief. So
It's very positive.
okay,
I want to comment, Mr. Senior, very impressed when I went on the website and went to the town manager's report, and he was actually doing it in person. And I think that's a very positive step.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I see it posted. Are you on Cohasset Town Government Cohasset Facebook page? Isn't that where you post it?
I went onto the website.
It's
Oh,
on the
okay.
website too. So
It's on the website and it's also on Facebook.
I went to the town website, so look at somebody says, let me pull it up.
Okay,
And there he was giving the whole thing, and that is an improvement.
thank you. Thank you. We will accept, thank you. I appreciate that. And we will accept all positive comments. So that's great. So back to the topic, not reasonably anticipated. At about 3:40 this afternoon, I got a call from School Committee Chair McClellan requesting that we make a vote tonight for their statement of interest to the MSBA, which is due on Friday. He apologizes for the late notice. They're wrapping up the actual statement of interest, but the vote has to get in. All we are voting on, it's not the statement itself, but it's on the school departments, giving them approval to submit the statement of interest to the MSBA by Friday. So we can have conversation, or the motion is quite involved. And there are two of them, one for the middle school, one for the high school. Does anyone have any questions before I read this?
If I could just clarify, so the ask from Chair McClellan,
Yes,
Chair,
yep.
is that we support a request for funding from MSBA?
We support their we support them submitting their statement of interest.
So
The
so it's even
government,
less of a commitment.
yes. It's permitting them to submit their statement of interest. Do I have that correct, Chris? Yes, yes. It's not a reflection on the content or an affirmation of the statement of interest. It's just affirming, it's just permitting them to do
The
so.
board's done this the last 2 years, so it's.
Yeah, I appreciate Chair McClellan reaching out and checking all the right boxes. It seems like an easy one to support.
Okay,
That would be my question. I don't mind saying, go ahead and do that, but I don't want to, in any way, shape or form, have that seen as an approval of that, just for them to submit that. And as long as that's clear, and I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, I haven't seen it. But I would support, them submitting.
Mr. Frog?
Same here, is that it's just to approve them to submit the statement of interest, and then, of course, there'll be plenty of public debate process afterwards if they
Correct.
should be invited into it. But the town has done this for the last 2 years, so this
Yeah,
3 years.
this is the fourth, yeah.
This will be the fourth, so I
Yeah.
think it's ministerial, basically. in
Correct.
content.
You are correct. And once I get the actual application, I will forward it to everyone so that you can see it. So, so please forgive me for reading this, but, I must. And then I'll ask for a motion.
Would you like a lozenge?
No, thank you. Not yet. Resolved, having convened in an open meeting on April 8th, 2025, prior to the statement of interest submission closing date, the Select Board of Cohasset, Mass, in accordance with its charter, bylaws, and ordinances, has voted to authorize the superintendent to submit to the Massachusetts School Building Authority the statement of interest form dated April 10th, 2025, for Cohasset High School located at 143 Pond Street, which describes and explains the following deficiencies and the priority categories for which an application may be submitted to the Massachusetts School Building Authority in the future for priority number 5, replacement, renovation, or modernization of school facility systems such as roofs, windows, boilers, heating, and ventilation systems to increase energy conservation and decrease energy-related costs in school facility. And number 7, replace of or addition to obsolete buildings in order to provide for a full range of programs consistent with state and approved local requirements. And hereby further specifically acknowledges that by submitting the statement of interest form, the Massachusetts School Building Authority in no way guarantees the acceptance or the approval of an application, the awarding of a grant, or any other funding commitment from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, or commits to the town of Cohasset Public Schools to filing an application for funding with the Massachusetts School Building Authority. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, and one more, gentlemen. Okay, resolved. Having convened in an open meeting on April 8th, 2025, prior to the statement of interest submission closing date, the Select Board of Cohasset, Mass, in accordance with its charter, bylaws, and ordinances, has voted to authorize the superintendent to submit to the Massachusetts School Building Authority the statement of interest form dated April 10th, 2025, for the Cohasset Middle School located at 143 Pond Street, which describes and explains the following deficiencies in the priority categories for which an application may be submitted to the Massachusetts School Building Authority in the future for priority number 5, replacement, renovation, or modernization of school facility systems such as roofs, windows, boilers, heating and ventilation systems to increase energy conservation and decrease energy-related costs in a school facility. And number 7, replacement of or addition to obsolete buildings in order to provide for a full range of programs consistent with state and approved local requirements. And hereby further specifically acknowledges that by submitting the statement of interest form, the Massachusetts School Building Authority in no way guarantees the acceptance or the approval of an application, the awarding of a grant, or any other funding commitment from the Massachusetts School Building Authority or commits to the Cohasset Public School District to filing an application for funding with the Massachusetts School Building Authority. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent, thank you. So I had sent out a reminder for a meeting next week. Chris, do we need one?
I don't know if we do at this point. It was really contingent on a couple of executive sessions, I think.
Which we may by next Wednesday. So I will keep everybody posted if we require an executive session for next Tuesday evening, but there's no open business to discuss.
No, we're good.
We're good.
The other thing, just I should have mentioned this before, that we're gonna try to shift the June 3rd meeting. I know we're looking ahead. I'll give you a couple of different dates. So I know we're still avoiding Thursdays, I think, right?
Thursday, I mean, David, you're tied up on Thursdays, right?
No, okay for now.
You're okay for now? In
Yes.
June, will you be okay for Thursdays?
June will be okay.
Okay,
So we'll I'll have Tracy Paul, see what is a good date.
okay, instead of the June 3rd. Okay, that's fine. All right, so may I have a motion to adjourn at
Motion to
8:22 PM?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, Mr. Grady, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.